Alright, so it's the next day. Got stumbled up on some stuff over there, but anyways, so what I'm going to do today is put some Teflon tape. I tried to look for some liquid Teflon, couldn't find any, so I'm going to use this, but very carefully. Make sure none of it gets broken off and, you know, gets clogged in any of the coolant or the oil side. So there's a couple pieces of this, the high flow coolant filter little bracket housing, and then the manifold that mounts the oil cooler, the external oil cooler. So okay, so you don't need a whole lot of this, but enough to get all the threads nice and covered around one time. I'm also staying back a little ways, not on the first thread, because I don't want this stuff to come off. Also, if you notice, the direction that I wound it was clockwise, or tightening it, so that whenever I twist this in and tighten it into the housing, it won't unravel the Teflon tape. So, little trick. So on the IPR kit as well, the top inlet, let's see if can you see this? Yeah. So the top inlet is the outlet on this piece, so it's going to go into the cooler, and the straight piece that they send you goes on the bottom, and then the little angled piece goes up here. So okay. I have to get wrenches to tighten all this stuff up. So what you're going to want is both of them kind of pointing like that, facing the same direction. You'll see once we get it in the truck, that'll make the hoses look a lot cleaner and stuff too. So yeah, definitely going to need to go grab some wrenches. Okay, so anyways, that's that piece. So on the coolant filter, got two, and he actually labels them in and out, and you can't get them backwards. If you get them backwards, nothing will flow through, just the way that it's designed in here. There's like a one-way valve in it. So because I didn't see this at first, and so I cracked it open to look at it and figured out which way was which, and then shortly thereafter figured out that he had it labeled. So should have done a little more looking first, but no worries. Okay, remember again, we're wrapping it clockwise or to the right, righty-tighty. Okay. Okay. All right. And the last piece is this guy. This one, oh, way cool. It's adjustable. So anyways, basically what you're going to come out with here is something about You know what? Let's go look at the truck. So what I'm going to do is run my coolant lines. I'm going to run them in front of the truck. Yep, that's where I'll do it. Right down there. I think that's where you're supposed to go. So what I'll do is actually the outlet on the so it's going to mount right here. Most of the hoses will face this way, back towards the engine, but the exit on this oil cooler housing will face this way and go back. That's because your return actually plumbs back in on the other side. So, okay, so I've got a little ahead of myself here on some of this. Here's the manifold that you're going to mount next to the battery box, and like I was talking about in a previous video, it's got a fitting for your oil temp sensor, which will be great because you can see the oil coming right out of this cooler, what the temperature is. So that's exactly what you want to see. So I mounted mine in there. It does come, actually the housing that we'll look at in a second came with a plug. I put that on the, I guess it'd be the oil cooler, you know, like where in the valley of the motor, and I still need one more. I just haven't had a chance to go look for a bolt that'll fit in there, so I may just end up calling Vince and get him to ship me one. So a couple issues so far. This dude fits super snug. So what I did, and the problem I'm having is it's extremely close to the battery terminal and cable and the battery itself. If you have a battery that actually fits all the way over here, it will not fit at all. So you know what, actually, let me grab that other bracket. So his kit comes with a bracket. Oh no, it looks like it's about the same. It's offset. Yeah. So this wouldn't help, I don't think. It may. Actually, I think it will. Well, anyways, I'll have to look at that. It's really tight, see here. So, and this is my AC compressor line, and it rubs against that really snug. Oops. And that's, I don't like that at all, because I do not want it. See, this is the most farthest back setting you can go, and it is hitting right there really tight. I don't know if you can tell from the video, but, and then, I mean, look how close, I mean, it's touching basically. So, not really digging that. You know what though? I may be able to push that AC line. No, I don't want to put any stress on that. So I'm gonna have to come up with something. I'm gonna have to make my own bracket because I don't like that at all. Or maybe I'll have to try his bracket. So, anyways, got the cap on here. One thing you have to do is the filter that goes inside there, that wicks that we looked at, there's a little fuzz gasket that goes on top, and you got to make sure that's pointed upwards. Then other than that, you know, we got all the fittings in, and see how they're both kind of pointing the same way, sort of. I didn't have enough muscle to wrench it the rest of the way. Maybe I will now that it's installed. So, and this thing, what you do is get that to where you like, and then it's got this little, like a lock ring, and you just tighten that up to snug it out. But this thing's not going to go anywhere, especially once you get the hoses on. And let's see, so we got the high flow coolant mounted, and this is real simple. Again though, this is so snug in here. I mean, I don't know how you're supposed to run these hoses and make it look halfway decent and, you know, not affect anything by putting pressure or heat into it. So I have to play with that too. Overall, I like the kit, but I'm not impressed so far with the where this stuff's supposed to go. Granted, you don't get very much room in this thing. So, but anyways, the directions you get with this, I know somebody was asking them, you know, wanted to see how this install goes. basically what you do is you just pick you a point, and I kind of looked at the hood and the way it mounted, and let's see if we can get down here and look at it. So it's pretty flush with the I guess this would be part of the fender under the hood, and you just got to kind of watch this dip and where it goes. But I got it mounted in there, and everything's good. Fits nice and snug. So what you do is you just drill 2 holes once you get. Basically, what I did is I took the filter off, the cap. This comes off. I'm not gonna take it off, but you can see it spins. And what I did is I took that off, and I kind of, or actually no, I'm sorry, I left it on. I kind of eyeballed it where I wanted it, and then I marked this hole here with a marker, drilled it, and then I took this off so I could get to the other one, and then I marked it and drilled that hole, and then you just crank these sheet metal screws down in there, just hand snug. If you go too much, you'll just strip the metal out real easy. So, and then after I got that, I test closed the hood to make sure it wasn't going to hit that. So that's where we're at now. So I got to figure out what the heck to do about this thing. I don't know if there's any room anywhere else. Of course, that's going to really screw up all the hoses and stuff. Yeah, that won't fit over here. So that's the current task to tackle. And this is so the way that I'm doing it, you know, like I did another video, but basically this is the outlet, this top one, for oil. So the oil is going to come out and go into the top. Yeah, this is the top, and then it'll filter down, go in here, which is the outlet, which is where your oil temperature sensor will be. Come out the outlet and go back into the bottom, this little spigot there, and, you know, circulate back through the system. Now the coolant is actually going to tap in to the heater hose, which is this dude right here, which you take off if you pull the manifold or anything, like what I had to do. And there's your little heater check valve thing, so that it only opens when the heat's on. So what you do is, this is the inlet from the engine, and what we'll do is we'll tap into this and go into the inlet on the coolant filter, and then from the coolant filter outlet over here to the inlet on the oil cooler. And then from the out, what I'm going to do, like I think I just showed a minute ago, is kind of go up under here, kind of just right underneath this plastic piece, back over to the other side, and this is where it is supposed to tap back in, underneath here, basically where your coolant bottle is. See, like those hoses right there. Actually, that one right back there. So that's where it'll tap back in. But first I got to get this thing mounted, and my turbo should be here tomorrow. Woohoo! So got me a Power Max coming. I don't know if I did a video or not, but I rebuilt that poor turbo, and the bushings. So ultimately my problem was I had some shaft play, and I think I talked about that. So when I would, you know, accelerate out off of an aisle, or, you know, red light or stop sign, it'd blow a big, you know, puff of smoke. And I fixed this once before and it worked fine, but now it's bad again. And so I put the new bushings and everything in there, rebuilt it, and then I still had shaft play, and I could actually see the bushings wiggling inside the housing. So unfortunately the housing is worn out. I don't know if a bearing or a bushing spun or what would cause that, but you know, it's got 160 something thousand miles on it. I guess it's probably about due time for a new turbo. So, well, that's where we're at. I'm gonna look around. Let's see what else we have to do. Have a new radiator hose. Oh yeah, one other thing. And I found one at Lowe's, but I didn't pick it up because they didn't have any, but I found it mounted on the wall for the display. This is plastic. This is the T that is going to be on the supply to the coolant filter. And I just, you know, I'm sure the plastic is fine, but you know, everything else on this install kit is either aluminum or brass for the coolant filter that we saw just a minute ago. So, and that's easy to get to. If that did mess up, I could easily change it. You don't have to do anything. It's just right there, easy access. But I figured if I'm going to do this, I wanted to go ahead and put a metal one in and get that taken care of. So, let's see. Oh, those are all the old parts from the fuel filter or fuel pressure regulator. So, anyways, I found one, but they were out of stock, so I'm gonna have to go back, and then after that, it's just, you know, buttoning everything back up. So right now, I gotta figure out how to mount this stupid manifold here and figure out what's going on. I'm gonna try to wiggle their bracket in there. Maybe I can kind of rig something up. So, anyways, I'll report back here in just a little bit. All right. Okay, so I think I've made a little bit of progress here. Get the camera where I can hold it. Okay, here we go. So, okay, so what I did is, and I started showing this before and then I got sidetracked, but so that this edge, hang on, let me see if I can put this light down. Okay, so the edge of the oil cooler is, I mean, if you pushed hard enough, that would definitely cut you. It's pretty sharp, and that's what was worrying me about it rubbing up against that. Rubbing up against that hose. Whoops, careful. There we go. I didn't want it to wear a hole in that, especially with the vibration of the motor and everything. So, the kit comes with 10 feet of 3/4 inch heater hose, and I actually went out and bought an extra 10 feet for like, I don't know, it's $12 at the auto parts store. So I just took a piece, you know, snipped it off about 4 inches, and then just cut straight down the middle of it, and you can't see that, but it's on the other side, and then just wrapped it around that as a protective piece. So that kind of solves that issue. It still pushes up against it, and maybe it'll snug up once I kind of button everything else up, but for now, that's that. So, like I was saying earlier, if you have a big battery, if you look at this thing, look at how much it hangs over. I mean, you can see the edge of the battery box. Yeah, where's the light? There we go. So, see how much it hangs over? That's a good, I mean, inch or more, inch and a half. So, I don't know what the stock batteries are, but the ones I have are kind of small. They're cheap batteries, and it's about time to replace them. So, you know, that's a little caveat that I'll definitely have to take into consideration when buying a battery. And the last thing I'm going to do is this little guy here was kind of poking out and was going to be close to the, oh, darn, you know what? Wait, I may be lucky. So it was going to be real close to this once it was mounted to the battery. What I figured I'd do is just take this out and flip it around. Of course, it's going to take more than one hand. So, so I think we're okay. I think. And so I'm going to have to play with this a little bit more. But, and see, this is going to have to go down a little bit. So, I'm going to get the hoses and mount those things up and just see if I can get this thing in there. So, alright, let me grab some stuff and then I'll start the recording again. Okay, so I got the hoses and already hit another freaking frustration. So I bought these stainless steel ones. I was talked into that. Of course, it didn't take much. You know, I thought it looked pretty cool. And they do. They look awesome. But, geez, look how you have to run them. They got to go all the way around in the back. And I'm not sure how this is going to play with the turbo boost tubes. Somebody got mad. Anyways. So, definitely can't put these on because I can't get the turbo in with that. So, well, and there's the hole where I got a plug for the, that's where the oil temperature sensor should go. And then it's one of those wires, and I also have to extend that wire. So, I'll show all that. I guess that's some of the stuff I'm going to work on in the next couple of days. I don't know if it's that one. Might be that one. Yeah, it's that one. So it's easy to extend, but man, I'll tell you, this is one thing after another with this stuff. This is definitely not a DIY for the average dude. So, I guess we could look at running the hoses. Find a good place to put this light. Okay. this. The hose length to go from the cooler to the coolant filter to the oil cooler is very short, maybe 1.5 feet. Like I said, I bought extra of this stuff, so we can definitely play around with this a little bit. I gotta make sure I grab the, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the clips too. Clamps, not clips. Okay, so here's basically how it's going to run. Just boop. Real simple. Apologize for the light. It's dark out here. My wife hadn't turned on the outside lights yet. Shame on her. Okay, so I'm not sure. This doesn't actually. This. I'm only about an inch too much on this. So I got some scissors. They're really easy to cut this stuff with. Just like that. Let me get my hose clamps. I have to loosen them. So it's a 7mm nut driver for these. I never use the screwdriver ends. Can't ever get those tight enough. Okay, so I'm just sliding this up by the coolant filter. Whoops, knocked the camera over. Oh, that didn't work very well. Okay, and then I'm gonna kind of, man, again, I just do not like how these hoses route. I mean, maybe it'll be okay, but I don't like it. Oh yeah, that can come out of the way. Fittings almost seem, you know what, these may actually be 3/8 inch fittings. They're awful small for this hose. Hope this stuff seals. Won't be good if it doesn't. Yeah, maybe that's okay. Alright. So that's what we've got. I kind of ran it. Oh wow, I zoomed in. Hold on. Where's the zoomer? There we go. Okay, so I kind of ran it around there. That actually fits pretty good, but you know, it touches that, and it's probably not going to hurt anything, but I don't want any more outside pressure pushing on these AC lines. Like this one, you know, that touches the back side of the cooler is, I'd be really upset if one of these, you know, wears a hole in it. That won't be a good day. So, alright, so then this is the inlet. See, it says in, out. This will be the inlet, and it's going to come from the hose right there. But again, we got to put that T on it. So, and you can see how this thing kind of aims just right there, and I think that's the AC dryer is what that's called. It's got a filter and stuff in there. Anyways, So I'm thinking I'll go kind of in between there. Luckily this stuff is nice and flexible, so maybe we'll find another route. Actually, I think I found a better one. So, alright, well, that's going to be all for tonight. Time to go in. Still got to work on some uploading the last videos, so I'll see you guys next time.